The Stoics spoke about kindness. They tried not to get upset, they tried to avoid arguments. But you know what? Sometimes somebody just needed to say something, and sometimes the truth hurts. The Stoics were inspired and shaped by the example of Diogenes, the dog of Sinope. Diogenes was known for his brutal takedowns of hypocrites, of fools, and of the powerful. And it was his example that Zeno was following when he eviscerated a pompous student named Aristo after years of tolerating his interruptions and disagreements. It was Diogenes that Agrippinus channeled when he responded to exile with a shrug and a dismissal, saying, "Okay, we'll take our lunch on the road." And it was Diogenes who Epictetus admired and looked up to perhaps more than any of the other Stoics. While they never sought to hurt anyone's feelings, they didn't indulge people's pleasant fictions either. They spoke up, they defended themselves, they protected what was important. They had that dog in them, game one at that. And what about you? Does political correctness have you cowed? Are you too deferential? Are you easily fooled by appearances and status? Or do you say what truth needs to be said? Because sometimes philosophy isn't polite, it's powerful. And the truth, well, it bites. Life is hard. Life is complicated. Life is full of choices. It's full of dilemmas. It's full of complex problems and confusing situations. It's full of obstacles and opportunities. It's full of grifters and liars and con artists and smooth talkers, as Marcus Aurelius said. It's also full of wonderful, fascinating, and incredible ideas and topics that you can't possibly be satisfied with just getting the gist of. In short, life is a thinking person's game, and it's why the Stoics stressed the pursuit of wisdom, because we need it. We need it right now, and we'll need it later. We'll need it when we face ethical dilemmas. We'll need it when we're tested by anger or greed or fear. We'll need it when we decide whether to speak up or stay silent, whether to act or hold back, whether to endure or change. You cannot have a good life without wisdom. Not only will problems overwhelm you, even eat you alive, but you'll leave so much unexplored. You will only do a fraction of what you are capable of doing. Yet, this wisdom, the kind the Stoics were often seeking and have come to be known for, it does not come easily. As we said recently, you can't spell learned without earned. Wisdom takes work. It is the work of your life, because life is a thinking person's game. Will you be able to make the most of the time you have here? Will you have the wisdom you need when you face complexity and difficulty, misinformation and partisanship and distractions? Will you be able to see the opportunities and be of service to others? Will you have the perspective required to know what matters and what you ought to do? Will you have the skill and the focus to explore what can be explored? That's why we do this work, why we study this philosophy, why we read these books and continue to talk, as Zeno said, to the dead who came before us. They knew what was important. They had been tutored from an early age in history and the literature that showed them all the cautionary tales. They knew the perils of ambition. They knew the cost of ego. They knew that happiness was never about externals. They knew that they wouldn't be able to take any of it with them when they died. They knew it was all shadows and dust. Yet they did chase it, didn't they? Seneca piled up a huge fortune. He compromised himself to stay at the center of Nero's court. Cato, for all his principles, pulled some real creepy shenanigans with his marriage to keep his career going. Marcus Aurelius, as we said, wrote that he would have traded all the palaces and power of Rome for more time with his family. But he didn't actually do it, did he? We all know better. We know what happened to Alexander the Great. We know all the stories about the miserable billionaires, the insecure power brokers, the insatiable art monsters. We know where it got them. Nowhere. Yet here we are, following in their footsteps, nevertheless. Here we are telling ourselves that we just need to do a little more, just one more job, just one more term. We are like Odysseus in Tennyson's tragic poem, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. And this is tragic, to never feel like we have enough, to never be able to stop, to chase the wrong things. This is folly. It is the sirens on the rocks singing, "No, it will be different for you. You'll actually get it. You'll be the exception. You'll be happy." We know better. We have to do better. We have to make better choices. History and literature and philosophy tells us, shows us why. They rejected pointless convention. They spoke hard truths. They weren't afraid of being punished. They didn't fear power. The Stoics said what needed to be said. Hailing from the Cynic tradition, as we talked about recently, the Stoics had that dog in them. But they weren't jerks. Not on purpose, anyway. It's one of the things Marcus Aurelius admired about Antoninus, his social graces. The way Marcus writes, he never exhibited rudeness, lost control of himself, or turned violent. The ability to feel at ease with people and put them at their ease. One of the experts we talked to, Dr. Jennifer Baker, had a great line. Honesty without tact, she said, is cruelty. She was talking about the importance of how our words land with other people and not using bluntness as an excuse to inflict harm. By taking our time, by practicing empathy, by understanding that not everyone appreciates candor in the same way, we're able to effectively communicate. We can say what needs to be said without being gratuitous. Did the Stoics always get this right? No. The record records some pretty biting and sarcastic remarks. Generally, though, they tried to speak with tact and kindness. They tried to act with grace and poise. Because courage without compassion isn't virtue. It's vanity. The Stoic ideal is not just to be brave, but to be good. And that means telling the truth in a way it can be heard. Everything we need to do draws on the same ability. Every problem we face, every decision we make, every risk we take, every belief we choose to accept or question, it all requires the skill of discernment. Life, business, ethics, success, it all comes down to being able to see what is what in a given situation, what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And no skill was more cultivated than this by the Stoics. Epictetus talked of money changers who could tell just by banging a coin on the table whether it was counterfeit or not. This, he said, was what a good philosopher had to be able to do, to know the right impression from the wrong one, a good response from a bad one, a virtue from a vice. It was what Marcus Aurelius was trained in by Rusticus and Fronto and Antoninus. To be able to see what's in front of you with clarity, to know what's important and what isn't, how things work. That's what wisdom is. It's not an encyclopedic knowledge of facts and figures, but something both profound and applied. For it was not Gandhi's sharp legal mind that made him the Mahatma. No one is born with this critical and all too rare ability. It is not something, Seneca reminds us, that can be delegated to someone else. There is no technology that can do it for you. There is no app, no teacher who can simply download everything into your brain, no guru who can lead you to enlightenment, or shaman who can give it to you in a dose. Wisdom takes work. Lots of work. Lots of reading, lots of teachers, lots of experience, lots of reflecting. Took lots of work in the ancient world, and it takes lots of work today. Where would we be without it? Who would we be without it? The new book, Wisdom Takes Work, is now out wherever you buy books. This is the fourth and final book in the Stoic Virtue series. If you want me to sign it, you can head over to dailystoic.com/wisdom to grab it.